The reason why I hate when people complain of this idea of techno-feudalism is that if you truly want independence from the system, it is truly possible. It's never been more possible to be independent from the system than it is now. We have frictionless payments. We have an easy way to get around the world. You have so many opportunities for those who are literate and those who have agency. If you have agency, this world is the best thing for you. This globalized, universal, multi-English speaking, you have so much opportunity here. So if you're complaining about techno-feudalism, you really believe that people have low enough agency that they are so risk averse that they aren't going to try to, compete with the big guys using being more nimble, using novel technologies that these big companies are slow to move on. Big companies have more resources, but even having more resources is a constraint because having resources means you have to have controls. Having controls mean you need to have segregation of duties. When you're just starting out, you don't need to worry about any of that. When you're starting out, you have capital freedom. And by capital freedom, you have a permanent capital base. Very few people, the only people who have that are people who run closed-end funds, who have to do a bunch of restrictions to access these closed-end investment funds, or they're independently wealthy, which means they've done something to get independently wealthy, or they have little resources, but they are independent enough to make whatever they want happen. So you need to be high agency in this world because having low agency means that you are not going to achieve anything. Having low agency means you're the consumer, not the producer. You're essentially living paycheck to paycheck. You're depending on the mercy of others, whether it is the government, whether it is your employer, whether it is anyone in this system to be good to you, to always employ you, to give you a roof over your head, to give you what you need. Techno-feudalism is a problem of lack of agency. It's not a problem of resources. Because if you think that technologies like AI are going to concentrate power in the wealthy, you are obviously wrong. Because AI is one of the disruptors. It decreases the value of intelligence. You don't need to be smart anymore to do anything. You can just do things now. You can just use a $20 subscription to an AI model, and maybe that subscription will go up because they're not charging for token usage. But for now, you only need a minimal investment to make millions of dollars. So being high agency is fundamental to managing this transition. Techno-feudalism is the idea that tech overlords will capture more of the resources and then they'll make us all into slaves or all into serfs of them, and we will have nominal freedoms, but we won't have actual freedoms. This is unlikely. This is so unlikely that I think that it should be put out of your mind. With every tech innovation, we've had more freedom, not less. And the only reasons why we have less freedom is that we have an attitude or a surrounding culture that restricts us. We have things like E-Verify, or we have things like KYC. We have things that are fundamental to catching bad people, but infringe upon the rights of law-abiding citizens. This is related to this topic because you have to understand what causes techno-feudalism. It's not the technology itself. It's this attitude of the people and the attitude of people demanding safety, demanding security. If we have UBI implemented, it's over. Because that's the case where techno-feudalism is a fait accompli. Because if you have people who are dependent on the government dole, which is happening in more countries and more Western countries, you're going to kill any sense of agency because you're going to kill what causes people to grow and evolve and do what they need to do to survive, which is earning resources for themselves. Once you take away that incentive, it's over. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. It just means that those who have agency are going to be even more influential and more successful, and they're going to capture more resources, and all they have to do is manage their tax situation, and they'll be freer than those who are dependent on UBI or UBI as a proxy or fake bullshit jobs or whatever. I don't even have a bullshit job. I love my job. But you have to understand that high agency, high freedom, high levels of you doing what you need to do to succeed is all about having agency. And if you can't teach agency, we're doomed too. Because if there's only like a 30% of the population that have the genetic proclivity towards agency, then we're going to have a situation where a bunch of people are going to be dependent on the agentic class to succeed. And that will be a sad day. It's going to be sad because people aren't free. People aren't liberated. People aren't successful. People aren't happy. Understanding freedom and understanding responsibility and understanding this sense of duty that you have towards yourself. You need to have fundamental understanding of freedom. And technofeudalism is the opposite of freedom. But freedom isn't about having resources. Freedom is about your actions in the world. If you're unable to influence your small bubble, or you only have limited influence over your small bubble of the world, then you are not truly free. If you have to do something for someone else and not have any choice in how you do it, you are not free. Most people aren't free. Most people want freedom. And there was a time where people were employed through family farms and informal gig work and other ways to where they were like blacksmiths and artisans and manufacturers and traders and all these types of people. But they had freedom because they were creating their own sense of values. Technofeudalism is the opposite of it. We're going to see a bunch of people who are employed in these corporate jobs where they do routine tasks, where there isn't much changes in what they do. They're going to be replaced by AI, or they're going to be decreased in magnitude, while AI picks up more of the work. So that maybe one person drafting maybe 15 or 20 people, lawyers drafting contracts, reduces down to 3 or 4 lawyers drafting contracts with the help of AI. And soon that goes to one lawyer. And soon you have a bunch of teams competing with each other, individual solo practitioners. And you have a situation where the competition is more intense, but the rewards are much greater. We live in an era where that is becoming more of the reality. We're having a situation where, understanding this new paradigm, we need to react properly. And we need to understand the nature of this reality. If you're worried about technofeudalism, you are probably in an area where isn't requiring much in-depth analysis or in-depth value add that a human is higher on the value chain. Either way, you need to learn to manage your own resources. You need to do what you need to do to survive. Future is towards high-end services. If you're able to come up with a service that people want, do something for people that is cheap for you to do, that other people value at a huge pain point, you will be fine. Technofeudalism is only a problem for people who are unable to change rapidly and do necessary changes to benefit their future. Thank you.